Let's do this one.
Okay.
There we go.
Yay. Hi, everybody. It's me, Lorina Quigley, and Kimmie Mathis, and we're doing another video. Do you want to do a quick introduction and just talk about yourself for a minute?
Hi, yeah, I am just a lifelong curious person about consciousness and psychic development and mediumship, also acupuncturist, and I used to be a combo practitioner, and I've been a friend of Lorena's and a client of hers for a long time, but about 10 years. I mean, I've known you about 10 years now, right? Or maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, at least. Yeah, I haven't done the math, but yeah.
I'm bad at that, but seems like 10 in my head.
Yeah. And I guess I'm Lorina Quigley. I've been doing this kind of work since, I don't know, since I could, basically. So yeah, since I could explore it. So which was about 18, growing up Mormon in Utah. So in Salt Lake area, that was when I could really get out and start exploring. So, and I do readings, healings, mediumship. Let's see, I see dead people. That's kind of fun to say, right? And anyway, I get, a lot of my stuff is around, I teach and I do deep trance work and get information through doing deep trance work, which is, yeah, just another element there, which is really fun to do. So if you can find if you find ways to go into deep trance states and still be very fully conscious, you can get a lot of information in that state. It's a really amazing thing to be able to do. And we did talk about Gerald O'Donnell in the last one. Gerald O'Donnell.
Why didn't we bring that up too?
Yes, if you can get, just tap Gerald O'Donnell remote viewing. Now, I wouldn't call his work really remote viewing, but that's what he calls it. Yeah. It's deep trance work. And he has a school or recordings that you can purchase that are phenomenal as far as going into deep trance states and getting information and seeing things and going past lives, future lives, everything. Go to the great womb of the mother. I mean, it's everything. And it really helps you with your consciousness states. And do you want to say anything about what you've done with his work?
Well, I mean, I wanted to ask you about what shifted for you the other day, but ironically, before I met Lorena, I had met a chiropractor back in Denver who was religiously doing his exercises, Gerald's exercises and meditations every day to enhance his healing capabilities, and then his chiropractic work too on a quantum level. And every time I tried to use Gerald's work up until recently, I just, obviously my consciousness wasn't ready for it. And then, but I feel very drawn to it right now. Like I've reached this place where I can incorporate it more. But so what has it did for you recently? I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing a lot of, first of all, it's really easy to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Trying to go into these deep trance states, it's, so you have to try really hard not to. So lately what I've been doing, instead of laying down, I have one of those, those pillows, those slanted pillows that for reading. So I've been doing it with that instead, so that I'm a little more, less likely to fall asleep. But what happened was, first of all, I did 10 minutes, 20 minutes of breathing techniques before I started. And then, so that can bring you into a state of consciousness where you're already a very heightened state of consciousness. And then I think I was using my neo rhythm thing, this magnetic pulse thing that I was wearing on my head. Yeah. And listening to Gerald stuff. So yeah, I was really hooked up there. But we can talk, the neo rhythm is a device to help with it takes you into, like I do it at 7 hertz, which takes you into that high theta state. So it's easier to go into those consciousness states. Anyway, so when I started doing it, what happened was I was just already in this high state of like consciousness. But everything that he directs you to do, and it is like a guided meditation. I was in such a high state of consciousness that everything that he directs you to do, and he does this thing where you imagine your body going up, or your energy body going up a couple of feet and then down
Oh,
a couple of feet,
yeah.
and then pouring back up a couple of feet and down a couple of feet. And at some point, you're doing about 2 feet, 3 feet, and then you expand your field out.
Mhm.
So, excuse me. So what happened was, because I was already in that heightened state. By the way, that technique is has a name. It's the Christos technique. It's a hypnotic technique called the Christos technique that is for out of body projection.
So it's not really
That's
like a technique, it's like a universal technique.
It's, if you look it up, Christos technique, it is actually an astral projection technique that
Oh.
works. But you can also use it as a hypnosis technique or a past life regression technique. Any, because it works. So what you're doing is you're loosening up your energy body from your physical body. You're loosening it up and you're consciously controlling it by pulling it up, pulling it down, pulling up, and then you pull it out. And so you're expanding your awareness. And then at some point you can just take off. So this one, it was almost like I was in an extra dimensional state where I could, but super, super conscious at the same time. So that's the difference. I was really in a state of high consciousness where you're getting it. You're getting the information. It's really hard to explain a higher state of consciousness. But so at some point I was at the state where I could start to see my luminal body, which is, I could start to see it and actually move, kind of move the energy around and see what's stuck in there in my own body. And I could see some stuff that was from some past lives that was just kind of in my field, but not directly affecting me in my everyday life, but still in there, that stuff that needs to be cleared out. So it was pretty amazing. Yeah, so I recommend Gerald O'Donnell's stuff very highly. And I know you do too.
Did it, like, you saw it, but like, were you able to zero in on it and see like what the issue was, the unresolved issue? Or
it was not just that I saw it, I was experiencing it and seeing it simultaneously, and going in there and going, okay, this is this thing in my energy field right here. And I'm getting what it was, but it was stuff that was more vague. So I think it was stuff that wasn't like really affecting me on an energetic level, but still in the field, it needs to be cleared out. So I'm like, okay, I can grab that. That's from past life. I was a woman and blah, blah, blah was happening. I can just clear it out, pull it and clear it out. So I wasn't just seeing it, I was experiencing it and able to do manipulations at a really highly evolved level and move this stuff out.
wow.
Yeah, it was very cool. Now, what kind of experiences have you had using his stuff? Just curious.
Not that yet. I didn't. It's not because I mean, I feel like at the time that I was doing it, and I will be going back to it because it's the remote viewing and the remote influencing, which that's kind of unique to his work too. It's the manifestation and then affecting reality, right?
Yeah, and that's what you're doing. You're going into that state where you affect reality.
That, like, the cusp between theta and delta, so that, like, delta being the gut, like the level where you can meet, I guess you call it, the creator, God, and then affect what you want to attract in your life. Mine just more or less made me a lot more, maybe this is a good segue, a lot more aware of my lucid dreaming. And I was having a lot more lucid dreaming when I do dedicate my time to his work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing big time. But I also, what was I going to say with his work? That's when I saw there was 2 experiences that I had doing his work. And one was seeing a past life where I was, and it really shocked me actually, where I was in a past life where I was in a castle and I was a woman and I was going to go murder somebody. And I had a group of people around me and I'm like, oh no, I was like, this is my job and I'm going to go do it. And I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel guilty. I just knew I had to go do it. So that really shocked me. Lorina, who's really kind and loving in this lifetime, and a healer, that was like, whoa, I saw myself so clearly. I'm going to go I gotta go kill somebody, and I'm very directed to do it. And there was a reason. Anyway, and I did get more information later, but that was doing Gerald O'Donnell's work. And then I also saw the experience that I had seeing myself in the future as an extraterrestrial in inner Earth.
Oh, okay. So forward, you had a forward.
So I went forward into time, like about 300 years. So that was doing Gerald O'Donnell's work too. So hey, anything can happen. Be open. That's cool.
You know, it's interesting that we're talking about the past life stuff with his work, because he's got some really interesting ways of looking. I have to go through his materials. Like he's got the materials that you can read before you even do the actual trance and the meditation. Where he talks about like actually like transcending like a lot of that stuff. He sees it as like they're just cells of like time and space. So like you really don't have to experience reincarnation. Like you can go beyond it, right? Like and sort of how does he call it? Like if you want to go in and meet a spirit guide, he's basically saying you are just lighting up a avatar in this space-time continuum to help you with something you want help with. And it doesn't like he's basically saying like don't make a whole story out of a spirit guide. Have you gotten that kind of from his work? But
don't make your whole story out of the spirit guide. What
like
do you mean by
people
that?
get really attached to like, oh, like this, I have the spirit guide and blah blah blah. And it's like his way of describing it is like this person is just lit up based on the plan that you have for your life, to help you. And you can like energize, like say you want to be led by this is gonna be like Moses. You can go into and like communicate with Moses if
right. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. Well, what I think that people make too much of spirit guides.
Right.
and I get it. We all want to hear about our spirit guides. What are their names? What do they look like? What are they doing? Blah blah blah. And it's fun and interesting. But I think that we need them. We have them certainly, but I think that that's just our wanting support. And so because we all need support and want support and we want to be connected, but what do I want to say here? That they show up but we make too much of it. We make a big story around the whole thing, and it really is just somebody showing up to help you because they do exist and they are there. And that's just being human, that we make this big story around something. We don't need to do that. And so I never made a big thing about what their names are, because the more we get into identity, the more it can become a trap, a consciousness trap.
And I feel like that's what his work was saying. It's like you have a lot more power than you realize. Like suddenly want to like accomplish a mission in your life. You can go into your subconscious and you can connect with these teachers and actually like handpick them. So there's a lot more of like inner power with all that than we realize.
Yeah. Yes. It's connecting into your inner power. Yeah. Absolutely. That's where the power is, where you can go in. Like what I was doing, I was going into my liminal body and going, what's here? And I wasn't trying to do that. That just happened. So it's like, well, let's just see what happens and be open.
We should talk definitely about more of Gerald's work as we go on and like, really cool. But then we wanted to touch on some dreams stuff. So maybe like,
yes. Okay. So the question is, what are dreams? What's real in dreams? I mean, I'm dreaming and this thing is happening. Is that real? Or is it just a dream I'm just burning off some stress because of the day I had? What is it? What do you think it is? I think it could be any of those things. That's just definitely.
I've lately, I've been having, I can tell, I don't know about you. Like, I mean, I know, because you've been doing a lot more studying with it, but sometimes I'll go into dreams and they seem so metaphorical and so like my subconscious communicating to me about places I'm stuck or places I'm growing and how to work things out. Or like, I feel like I'm traveling and, going to meet familiar friends and those kinds of things. But recently, like the last week, it just feels like it's just been random data dumping.
Mm. And what
Like,
do you mean data dumping? Like
like,
information for you to help you in your life?
like almost like ridiculous, nonsensical things.
Oh.
Like I had a dream recently where I had this brother, like, I mean, he was trying to kill me. And I'm like, and like, so I'm just walking around on eggshells in this dream with this, knowing that I have this brother that like, it's gonna take me out. And like the people around, I just felt like I was in a weird world, a very
Mm.
foreign place, and I was in somebody else's shoes or life that wasn't me. And I woke up like that dream had zero meaning to me. And that's
Uh-huh.
like that. So I'm like, is that just my subconscious working out stuff I've seen through the day on, on TV or the media or social media? I don't know.
Hmm. Well, that's interesting because the last, not last night, but the 2 nights before that, I woke up with some dreams where there was so much noise. And I mean like staticky noise everywhere. It was almost like I can't hear because there's so much noise. And it was really uncomfortable. And I was like, what is going on? And 2 nights in a row. And somewhere in the middle of the night, like 3:30 in the morning or something, when I woke up out of these dreams. And I wasn't seeing anything really significant, just the environment and people around me. Um, but in remote viewing, they have something called signal and noise. So what are you tuned into? Are you tuned into the noise, which is the static, the psychic static, or are you tuned into information or the real signal that you're trying to get the signal and you're trying to like tune into the frequency where the information is? So, and that's what it made me think of is that, and I had been watching TV a lot. So, and stuff like some stuff on Hulu about polygamists, that like crazy polygamists who are hurting women, basically, all right. Abusing people and brainwashing them. So I've been watching a lot of this stuff. So there was a lot of this, and I think from watching that, because I usually don't do that watch that much kind of TV kind of stuff with commercials. I was picking up a lot of the static, the actual noise that's in the cosmos. I think we're okay, don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but I think there is so much noise that's being projected onto us psychically, like in the airwaves. And I think I was starting to tune into a lot of that. And I was literally like in my dreams, like, it's too noisy. There's so much static. What is going on? Anyway, just that was a little segue, but that's about dreams that I was having. What do you think about that?
Oh, I totally believe that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was bad. I'm like, okay, well, I got to watch less of that stuff. But it's really interesting. Being raised Mormon in Utah, I'm interested in that stuff. But anyway, but okay, back to so I think there is a part of that dream that it represents reality of what is happening, and I was picking up on it, and it was disturbing. Yeah. Anyway, but there's also I think that there is a difference between, because I've had a lot of dreams where I get information. I mean, like when I was after my sister Jana died, I was 23 years old. She came to me in a dream, and her death was really hard on me.
Yeah.
She died when she was 18. I was 23. I was a mess. I mean, literally, and about yeah, not functioning well. And she came to me in a dream. She literally, like this dream it was about 3 months after she died, 4 months, something like that. The room was all black. It was just a black room. She walked in, we sat down there. So obviously there were 2 chairs. We sat down and she told me what to do with to go be a hairdresser, that it wasn't the only thing I was going to do in my life. And she said, it's going to lead you to other things. And she showed me a ladder and climbing the ladder and doing these other things. Now, I mean, it was that clear and defined. Now, and I woke up, of course I started crying because I'm like, oh my God, Jenna came to visit me last night. And I signed up for hair school. I was signed up a week later.
Oh, wow.
I took it that seriously. And it did change my path, and it set me on a path, and I knew where I was going because I was really lost before that. Now, is that real? To me, yeah, that is real. That is like, because we talked, we discussed.
Yeah.
And also, she told me what I was going to do after being a hairdresser. what it was going to lead to, and I could remember it when I woke up, but after that that information went. Like, can't remember it, but I know why. Is because I would have focused on that.
Yeah.
Like what I'm supposed to do, like in the future, not what I'm supposed to do now. Because that's kind of what I'm like. So like, you don't get to remember that part. But and to me, that's real. That is real. And sometimes every once in a while I have a dream where I see flooding happening. And I think that's kind of a remote viewing thing where you kind of pop out and you're seeing like
Other world.
yeah, like some sort of future event that's going to happen. Once it was in Manhattan, and most of the flooding was in downtown, like Tribeca in that the lower south part of Manhattan. And that did happen, but not the way. And I saw portals too. There were portals that I saw too in Manhattan there that were definitely there. Anyway, I think that might not be part of that's real. Part of that is like a future, like, you know, you're supposed to see that for some reason.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
I know a lot of near-death experience people talk, because I watch I'm obsessed with hearing about people's stories about NDEs, but a lot of them will say they get that much information, like, you know, when they're over there, and then like they'll come back and a lot is blocked off, or they won't get the information until like years, it will return to them years down the way.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
It will influence your life too much for you to be present.
Yeah.
And actually live your life. Yeah.
How do you think that because I feel like for me, I get a lot in my dreams, but then a lot of it, I can't pull out the signal from the static. You know what I'm saying? Like, like around Halloween, I always get a lot because of the veil. I see a lot of my ancestors come, and I had something this last Halloween where I had all these on my mom's side, all these ancestors in the dream, and my cousin who's passed, he came and he told me something really specific, but I couldn't remember it because it was just feel like it was so busy and there was so much noise. But I knew when I woke up, he was saying that there was going to be a death in the family, and there was, like 2 months later. But then I'm like, gosh, how do you strengthen because it was almost like he's trying to talk to me through static or muck, and it's like. And I'm like, how do you get the clarity? Do you know like techniques for getting the clarity in dreams?
That's a good question. So, well, that moves into lucid dreaming, because if you can, you know, because to really be able to control that environment, you have to move into lucid dreaming or some type of astral projection where you ask for clarity, or you can literally like see, like tuning the frequency, like literally like I'm going to turn this knob to find the perfect frequency so I can hear better. And you can do that with psychic work too. Yeah,
I have heard some of the guys that teach OBEs talk about like when you become lucid, actually saying to the dreamscape like clarity now, or like focus on their hands, and then like the dreamscape will like dissolve, and then like
so sharpening your focus and actually commanding it. So let's get, I need some clarity now, or I need to hear more clearly, or you actually say it, so you're asking for that to happen, or commanding it even. And so I once had moving into like so I once had a UFO dream like many years ago. So which was, I mean, this is when I was living in Utah, so I was probably I don't know, 24, 25, something like that. Anyway, so what, living in the house I grew up in. And so I had this dream where this big giant mothership came in. And I mean this big giant mothership. And I'm standing outside watching this mothership like coming up over us. And it's like as big as a football field, at least. And my sister Charlene's with me. Oh, sorry, Charlene. Mentioning your name. But anyway, so we're there together, and I heard this voice inviting us, like, you can come with us and we'll take you on a journey. kind of thing. I don't remember the exact words, but it was like that. And I said, okay, yeah, I'm in. I'm going. And my sister, she's like, no, I have a date tonight. So she didn't come with us. But I did say, I do not want to see you, because I I just knew if I see what these beings look like, I will totally freak out, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
And so they said, okay. So, so I never saw them, but I knew they were around me, and we were moving around. And so what we did was, it was almost like I was in my own little ship, and they were directing me, and so we went up through different dimensions. We literally went up through different dimensions. And this is what I remember. And as we went through these different dimensions, we went up into the sixth dimension and the seventh dimension. And after that, after we went to the eighth dimension, it was like, I can't see anymore. I cannot see anymore. They fuzzed it out. It's like, I think that I just don't have the consciousness to handle that. But at some point, they took me into the future. So I'm not sure what dimension we were roaming around in at that point, but they took me into the future, and they took me to Charlene, where Charlene was living with her future husband in California.
Yeah.
It's the place. And I actually saw the place, saw what it looked like, and was hanging out there. And at some point I had this thought of, oh no, because I'm at this higher vibration, I'm buzzing at this higher vibration, and these beings that are around me that I cannot see are helping me stay at this vibration. And I had the thought, oh no, wonder if I get stuck. And the minute that I thought that, I felt this.
I felt like shutting down.
Yeah, like my energy started going down, and I started getting stuck. And I'm like, oh no, no, no. Yes, like, oh God, let's go in the other direction. Can I get stuck? So I like revved back up again, and I was okay. And then at some point we came back. Anyway, so that's pretty much the dream. Now, was that a dream? Was that real? Was I astral projecting? Did I have beings come and say, hey, come on, let's go? And we took off. I mean, I think it was real, myself personally. And it sounds like an astral projection, in an astral projected state, or a astral state, that they took me to these places.
Yeah.
I don't think it was physical, but it was real. That's my perception, that it was real, and I really did go. And I didn't ever see them. And I think I would have just, if I would have saw them, I would have popped back into my body, and it would have been done. We're done.
You know what? I totally understand what you are saying. I have never had a dream that's specific to ETs, like an actual astral dream like that. But I have had, it's like, when you're falling asleep, I know, you know how you're in that in-between state.
Oh yeah, the hypnagogic state.
Yes, those are when have had my experiences. And actually the client I'm with right now that I do caregiving work for is on an incredible amount of medication, and I will when I'm sleeping in the room like next to her, like take care of her at night, sometimes I'll shut my eyes and I'll see, like it's like a blurry outline of like a almost like a gray, I guess. And she has told me that she has seen them. That's why, and I was like, oh, I've heard of this, and but like I'll start to see it like in my hypnagogic state, and I'm like, no, like abort, and I wake up.
Yeah.
But I have had one other experience when I was really doing so much like reading and YouTubing on all the different types of species, where I wanted to open myself up like to that more communication. And it started to come in one evening. I had seen one standing there. It was almost like it was saying, hey, we're here. And it was like I don't want to really go into explaining it, but I mean, its eyes were very human, but then it had the classic sort of like paler skin, right? No hair, bigger head, but very human eyes. And I started to see it, and I was like, no, This is too much. And so
Yeah.
it was like almost telling me like, yeah, you've been asking, but you're really not as right as you think you are.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, right. I understand that. Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
getting, I messaged you and I heard the toning, like they were like sending me healing tones.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. Oh,
this is
yeah.
too much of me for me at this point, but those are the times we can reach those levels with those beings.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, is our sleep,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I've also had a couple dreams where I am suddenly where I'm lucid, so I'm conscious, but I'm still in the dream state, but I'm somewhere else. Like I'm with these beings, like again, like the Alex Gray posters, and that's why I have Alex Gray posters in here, where we're looking at the energetic body. Like I'm looking at this energetic body, but everybody is in that state of just seeing their energetic body, like their spiritual energetic body. So you can't even like, and they're showing me stuff, and I look like that. They all look like that. And so I'm just seeing energy and the tube torus field and all the chakras, and you can't. The thing is, you cannot see who they are as far as like me looking at you and seeing what you look like. It's all, you identify somebody by their energy and not by what they look like.
Right.
Because we all look the same except for what might be hanging out in the field that needs to be healed. And so they were showing me how to go into my own energy body, the spiritual energy body, and pull stuff out. And they were showing me stuff inside of my own body.
Wow.
And pulling it out. And again, is that real? And then I had another dream where the same type of thing where I'm seeing the luminal body. And again, they're showing me.
We only have 2 minutes. I don't mean to interrupt you. Do we only have 2 minutes left? I just wanted to give you.
Okay. Well, the luminal body. So I was actually seeing inside my own luminal body, and I was seeing everybody else's. So, but again, is that a dream? No, that is not a dream.
I don't think so. Not at all.
Because yeah. Anyway,
those are the deeper levels of we wouldn't even call it dream work. It's just awareness.
Yeah, consciousness and our own, and looking at their spiritual anatomy, literally, and dealing with that world. Yeah, so yeah, dream work is really important because it will help bring you to all these states, and anyone can look it up. But check out Gerald O'Donnell. Yes, because he will help you get to these states also. It's we'll be really, talking more really about cool.
Right?
Yeah, because I'm really into them right now. Again. All right, I guess we're getting ready to say goodbye. So anyway, everybody, this is Kim and Lorina, and we're just sharing more fun information. You want to say anything?
No, it's just always fun to talk about this stuff with you. I love it. So thank you for being here with us.
Oh yeah, thanks everybody. Enjoy. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.